welcome to bryan114. This is a quick review of the space in bryan114. So basically what I've done is I've hit the start button on the Extron panel to bring up the system. So the system is now up. I'm going to go over to the PC very quickly and pull up a different screen because Chris Ferris doesn't even work at UNCG. He was the technician who was here last and worked in the room and obviously left a little piece of software as a gift on our CPU. And I'm going to the Bryan School website. So we have a nice little background. Here's graduation. I'm going to try to use, very briefly, I'm going to use the iPad to control the room. So we have several devices that allow us to control the room. But basically for teaching, I'm just going to stand here on the pad. That brings up the camera. And now I'm just looking at an iPad and I'm bringing up the Extron panel on the iPad. Got to connect the room. And that way I can control the camera if I want to move it. I don't think you can see this, but this is the iPad that you can use as you teach to control cameras, to switch them back and forth to the students. It's very easy. There's a little button that says cameras. I'm going to change the view to student camera. And now if I have students in my class, I'd now be seeing the students, and what you now see are the desk, and I'm just controlling them with the iPad here. It's an empty classroom at the moment, but this is bryan114. So welcome to bryan114. The chairs are on rollers, which can be a bit of a headache for having your classroom left in disarray when you walk out and come back the next day. If the person who teaches before you doesn't put them back in rows, they're going to be in just wherever they left them. But they're also, it's very convenient for working in groups because you can have the students roll into small groups and very quickly and very easily. And so if you're teaching and you're having your students present, they are now being recorded on camera. If you're doing it as a hybrid course, then they're working in groups with students that are off-site, then they can see each other. The off-site students can see the face-to-face students. And the face-to-face students using WebEx can see the off-site students so they can work together in small groups. I'm going to go back to the teaching camera and it'll bring it back to me. So it's a very easy switch back and forth from one camera to the next. We also have a tracking camera. If you're using the tracking camera, if you're a pacer, you need to wear this device around your neck. It's very simple. It has this little collar. The collar piece is what controls the tracker. The tracker will follow you around the room. The room has lots of microphones in the ceilings. I'm going to show you some of those microphones by switching the camera to the original student view camera. I'm hoping I can get to the ceiling. Let me see if you can see up top. I'm not sure I can get the camera to go all the way to the ceiling. But up in the top corners you can see a little bit, the little hanging down microphones that pick up your voice wherever you are in the space and also the voices of your students. So it's a great space for teaching a hybrid, course where you're teaching some students face-to-face, or it's also nice for an asynchronous course where you're going to just record the lecture and your students can watch the recorded lecture from wherever they are. Or if you want to be a very progressive instructor for a face-to-face class, you can do like Lulu did and record your lectures in sections and post those as teaching tools inside the class, and then go into your class as a flipped class and start with asking questions about the mini lecture they watched before they came to class, and then design your lecture based on misunderstandings with your students. So it's a pretty cool space. I hope you'll come for a tour. We'll set a tour up in August when we come back to school, and you can have a good look at what bryan114 looks like and kind of play with the space. So, on these folders, notice that folders look like this, but if you stand them up upside down like this, they become a name card. And why do I need a name card? Because I don't know your names. It's a lot easier for me to learn April and Maddie than it is for us to learn all of you. Now, Maddie will learn your names quicker than I will, I bet. Because she sees them more, but I will give it my best effort. So you're going to, before you write your name, patience.
For the sake of our example, let's assume that you can sell the 2 box of cards at $25. That's just, you know, an assumption. And let's also assume you can sell the 2 boxes of chocolate at $50 or $75. I mean, it doesn't matter really. So that's going to leave me $25 for the bottle of chocolate. Not leave me, I mean, that's just an assumption I have made. So the total sales value of the 3 items is going to be $125. Remember, I bought them for $100. Now I individually sold them, and I will be earning a total of $125, a $20 profit on the basket, which is, you know, a 25% margin, which is not a bad thing, right? Now let's see how we allocate this cost, 100 cost, across the different items using the relative sales value method.
Couple that own Connect, and it's a speech and hearing business. So that's another option. How many of you have not done your outside? For the 3 of you. Okay, so you 3 there. Pick one of these 2. Mine is going to be about 45 minutes long. The other one's an hour. If you wait past those 2, there's one next week that's 3 hours that you can do. So you want to get that done. The only reason it's shorter is because I have to be somewhere else. I was supposed to be doing a 3-hour presentation this Saturday too. So the 3 of you guys, let's get this done. Otherwise the entire class won't be happy with you because they'll have to come on finals week. So, and I don't set this rule up, the provost's office does, and they're really enforcing it this year. So we sort of have to comply with it, or I can lose my job, which is not a good thing. Okay, so let's talk about franchise legal documents. You guys read this chapter for last week, chapters 13 and 14. And our guest speaker is now going to try to come next week before your exams, because I know when I have you cover stuff in the book before an exam, people are like, get it messed up in your head. So I asked him if it works out for him to come speak next week before your exam, and that is Andy Strand. And he is a multiple unit franchisee, so he owns a number of Subway franchisees here. And he was really nice to come speak to us. And he said that he's coming straight from the store, one of the stores, so he might smell like bread because they bake their own bread at Subway. And I said, that's not a problem. You guys deal with it, right? Baked bread always smells pretty good. So that's what the plan is.